Pranam all. I'm so happy to have been given this opportunity to address the YJA adults and youths in 2020. This biannual meet is definitely going a long way to encourage all the Jain youth from the US to get together and have a common platform where they can share their views and ideas. I welcome one and all present here today. Welcome. Corona, COVID-19. You can hardly call it an event. Yet, the world has passed through the influence of plague, cholera, typhoid, etc. in the last century. And then dengue, bird flu, swine flu, AIDS, Ebola, etc. have been experienced in the current century. And now we have corona. 26/12/2019, India witnessed a bangle-shaped solar eclipse, which was predicted as the coming of the bad times or a bad omen by a Jain Acharya, Gachadipati Shri Hemchandra Suriswarji Maharaj Sahib, who is at present in Ahmedabad. In India, in March 2020, when the lockdown was declared, Suriji said that this was just a beginning. When we experienced another such eclipse on 21/6/2020, Gachadipati added that he anticipated this to be the commencement of the downfall of the fifth Ara as predicted in Jain scriptures, and that the worst was yet to come. COVID-19, the new pandemic, has engulfed around 123 countries and counting. Practically the whole world, the entire globe. Let us begin by giving our condolences to all those who suffered due to this new pandemic. A humble request to all to join hands and chant 12 Naukars for the peace and well-being of the infected. Thank you. Okay. Some consider this catastrophe as the Third World War. This time, we have a common enemy, Corona. Like any other war, we can see that as a species, we are losing multiplying numbers every day. Also, just like any other war, this too shall end, leaving us in the wake of devastation with lessons that we should have learned. Jainism, as I see it, is not a religion. It is a way of life or the truth. The law of the universe that applies to every single living being regardless of his caste or origin. We often misunderstand Jain principles as rituals, deeds, expectations which heavily define our future. But in actual, they are nothing but simple pointers provided to us by those who saw this truth in order to guide us through life and help us see it too. Since I mentioned that Jainism sees the truth for what it is and is based on universal laws, it is indeed relying on proven scientific principles. To start with, I would like to touch three core principles of Jainism: Ahimsa, Jaina, and Brahmacharya. Looking at the idealistic scenario, if every living being in the world followed Ahimsa, the pandemic may not have even taken birth in the first place. With whatever little we know about the origin of this pandemic, it may have something to do with the consumption of bat in Wuhan markets from the sourced from the Wuhan markets. Should we have obeyed the true principles of ahimsa as a species, our consumption would never have gone so drastically against us. This brings to mind that this is the impact of human destruction of the world's natural environment. Jain scholars believe that the earth and everything in it has always coexisted, and so we must maintain the equilibrium and harmony. Now, if we destroy forests, we disorient a lot of animals, plants, and microorganisms. They lose their habitats. They have to find new ones. So what happens? They find newer habitats. Humans. Ahimsa. Ahimsa talks about no meat consumption. As it is considered to be one of the Mahavigais, we are prohibited from consuming meat. All living beings, right from animals to microorganisms, are to be protected by Jains, as all have equal right to live. However, we have reached this point. We all have to now look after ourselves and obey the rules that are laid down by the World Health Organization, WHO, as they have authority and knowledge regarding such pandemics. Interestingly, some of the do's and don'ts put down by WHO have been regular do's and don'ts preached by Jainism since over 2,500 years. This brings to me Jaina, compassion. In these times, it is expected out of us to keep sanitizing our hands, belongings, and our groceries that we bring into the house to keep them all germ-free. Jains also have a routine of checking their body, clothes that they are wearing, their belongings twice a day for insects and germs. This procedure is called Parilehan. It is observed daily by sadhus, and Shravaks need to adhere to it only when they are doing paushad. Wearing a mask, right? Wearing a mask has become a compulsion. Correlating to another Jain principle of Jaina, we are required to hold a mupatti on our faces every time we talk, so that the microorganisms from our mouth and our spit don't fall on random surfaces and die. This not just protects the people around us, but we also care for the microorganisms within us. The principles of Jainism are extremely inclusive. The next important thing expected from us during Corona times is social distancing. This aligns with the principle of brahmacharya, or to avoid unnecessary social and physical contact with strangers. Why strangers? Even our friends. Jains do not greet with a handshake nor a hug, but they greet by joining hands and bowing down. Social distancing also expects us to reduce the number, or rather minimize the number of people we interact with. More we interact, the more we while our precious time. Bhagwan Mahavir has rightly explained his disciple Gautam Swamiji, Goyam Samayam Ma Pamay, which means, Gautam, don't waste even a fraction of a second of this rare human life that you have been gifted with. Indirectly asking us to be more creative and more constructive with our time, and not entertain pramad, that is, wasting of time or lazing around and making our lives more useless. WHO also suggests we should not eat salads in these times, but to eat more cooked food, hot food, making all obey the principle of consuming achit food. What is achit? When you chop a fruit and leave it for 48 minutes, The life in the fruit is no more there, is no more present in it. This is called a chip. So chip with a soul or chip without a soul. So fruits do become a chip after 48 minutes. But this is not the case with vegetables. Vegetables do not lose their lives after chopping. They need to be cooked. They need to be heated. And thus, WHO's recommendation of eating hot food kind of encourages one and all to have a chip food. Now, I don't mean to say I told you so, but I'm sure that is what our Jain acharyas must be thinking. As they see the state of humanity today, should living with ahimsa, Jaina, and brahmacharya and all other Jain principles have been the norm, humanity would not have welcomed Corona with arms wide open. Nonetheless, all is not lost. With due respect and compassion to the mass loss, suffering, and pain endured by so many of us and our own friends, can I request that we take just 30 minutes of our lives to reflect how we got here and what there is to learn from this? In some Asian cultures, they use the same symbol for challenge and opportunity. That does not mean that these cultures demean the pain or the suffering that comes with such challenges. It only implies that they are deeper in the sense of svikar or acceptance. Whatever is happening was meant to happen, is their belief. Can we also try to analyze this challenge and try to seek the opportunity it brings with itself? Is there a hidden lesson? Is nature trying to tell us something? Can there really be a silver lining to this catastrophe? Can we also try to focus on acceptance rather than dwell in the anxieties it brings with it? If we take a positive approach, then a cure can become a blessing. But instead, if we take a negative approach, then a blessing too can turn into a curse. Come, let us focus on hope. Let us focus on peace. Let's focus on learning and let's develop the Svikar Bhav. Only way to stay blissful is by accepting what happens. Together, let's look at this challenge in the face and find our own little way of saying, thank you, Corona. Sometimes, those with the true compassion and strength within can accept a challenge like Corona without complaints or demands. Let's aim to get there. Only then we may actually be in a better position and mentality to thank it. Think through the past 4 months. If you have suffered pain and loss, we are truly sorry for you. Our hearts and strength lies with you. If you have not, and if you have lived a normal life within 4 walls, look back and think deep. What changed? How did the lack of social gatherings make you feel? How did you deal with forced lockdowns and the lack of entertainment? Did you feel grateful for the time and people around you? Did you spend good quality time with your loved ones? Or did you rebel and feel the need to defy the rules and go out? Did you have days filled with anger and anxiety? Did you feel FOMO, the fear of missing out, about stuff going on in the other countries and cities or places? Or did you find your peace and content? Truly ask yourself, did you accept? Let's turn the tables today. Let's look at what we can actually do to make the most of our time and situation, to maintain happiness and peace within the country and community. Because at the end of the day, that's every soul truly craves: peace and samta. Lockdown was enforced. This encouraged family time and bonding. In other words, Paraspar Maitri. Normally, people are physically and mentally exhausted by the time they reached home from work. Hence, the time at home was mainly used up for relaxation, to breathe out the stress that they had developed in the whole day. But the change scenario gave all an opportunity to put that time to better use, interact with each other with a fresh mind, pursue our hobbies, learn or read religious scriptures, etc. Let's further this, Maitri. Let's actually take the time to understand the people we live with and understand ourselves better too. Let's get rid of old baggage within relationships and start anew with new friendships and new understandings. In India, I noticed that women got more involved in cooking and house chores as help was not available anymore. The lockdown. The principle of Jaina was automatically better observed. We started living a self-sufficient and sustained lifestyle, just similar to what I have noticed in the States. At the same time, men of the family became more considerate, helpful, appreciative, less demanding, and also at times supportive. We all, at some level, began to practice Vritti Sankship. Now, what is Vritti Sankship? It means make do with a smaller spread. If I need 7 things, I make do with 5. If I need 5 things to be placed on my table, I am okay to do with 3. So yes, the spreads became smaller. As I mentioned before, Jaina was followed. Jaina means as far as possible protecting the smallest microorganisms in the kitchen. A big thank you to Corona to help us develop Paraspar Maitri, observe Vritti Sankship, and make us walk on the path towards Jaina. Lockdown also led to not going out to the restaurants as much, which made possible 1. Abhakshatyag, not eating the 22 prohibited items, and consuming home-cooked food, which went a long way in enhancing our thoughts and our mentality. Anna tevu man, ahar teva vichar. You are what you eat. All this talks about this. The second, vashi tyag, means not eating leftovers of food cooked a few days prior, because leftovers of food cooked prior, overnight food, has little water content, and when the water stays overnight, it has the capacity of giving birth to a lot of bacteria and viruses. So we are not allowed, and these bacteria and viruses are Beindriya jeevs, and so we are prohibited from eating vashi food. So this also reduced as homemade fresh food was made available and it was replaced by the restaurant foods. So another big thank you to you, Corona. Movies and outings too stopped. This reduced the sins one committed due to anarthadand. What is anarthadand? Meaning punishing the soul for doing things which are not necessary for a simple and normal life. So another hearty thanks to you, Corona, that we were able to restrict ourselves and not commit anarthadand. Traveling also reduced. This made us compulsorily reduce 1. the fuel consumption, and thereby, of course, helping the ecosystem and reducing the pollution. But most importantly, also, it promoted ahimsa, as a few big or small living creatures were no more crushed under our wheels as we swished on the roads. Thank you, Corona. The word shopping spree, yes, the shopping spree reduced, making us compulsorily move towards aparigraha, meaning reducing our needs to unnecessarily adding to the things we possess. Because the shopping wasn't permitted, we had to compulsorily reduce our intake of unnecessary items. Only we went out only and only for the necessary ones. Right? It's like the more the parigraha, the faster you sink. Just like a ship which is overloaded. So, once again, thank you, Corona. Lockdown also required all malls, mass meeting areas to be closed. Hence, commercial AC consumption and factory operations drastically reduced, reducing again global warming and pollution. It also in turn reduced the world temperatures, enabling the sadhus and sadhvijis to experience lesser heat this summer in India, giving them more shata. Better temperatures and quieter roads also encouraged animals and birds to venture into our habitats. Here we saw uh, peacocks, and we saw so many different species of birds and animals, even fishes coming out into from the deep sea towards the shore, and we actually got a glimpse of all of them, which we never did before. One more thank you to you, Corona. I can't forget adding the selfless doctors, the nurses, and people who came forward to help with their expertise and donations. In India, under the head of, in India, under the initiative of different heads like Rotary, Jain Sanghs, etc., people came forward to help. They made food packages. So every building here, practically every building here, and every house was trying to make small packages of thepla, vegetables, or maybe upma, and pack them into small sizes serving one. These packets were collected to be distributed to the needy and also served the tireless hospital staffs, thereby shining out the seva and vayavaj qualities of Jainism. Thank you, Corona, for making us realize our own true potential. Religious places are also under lockdown, but the spiritually learned people are taking good advantage of this period to discover inner bliss, to be able to go deeper inner within themselves, to have some self time and to do self realization, ekanta sadhana. Also, some have added meditation, dhyan. Meditation doesn't come easy. It is a tough thing to kind of manage, or a tough thing to master. But in these times, as the mental stress had reduced, not giving too many avenues to the mind to wander, it became shades easier to meditate. So there were many people who indulged into meditation, restored to that, because it gave immense peace. Sadhus and sadhvijis have also got a lot of time in their hands as they had less visitors. They have experienced the bliss of ekant sadhana and dhyan more than anyone else. My sister, Sadhviji Hemyasha Shriji Maharaj Sahib, also vouches to this. Even the spiritually less inclined have moved towards religion to find support and hope. Faith has overall increased as we humans always need a go-to in times of despair. We need something to look forward to, something to cling on to, something that is going to say, don't worry, all is well. I am there. So yet another thank you, Corona. Jainism has noted in the past how Mahamari, meaning these great pandemics, were controlled by the then prevailing acharyas who created powerful stotras embedded with miraculous mantras like Uvasaggaharam and Lagu Shanti. Yes, mantras and miracles the mantras can do. In the olden times, when there was no medicine to remove snake venom, these old yogis, they used to treat snake bitten people by these mantras, and one such mantra was called Garudi mantra, and this mantra actually removed this, kind of got all the snake venom to one spot, and it could be sucked out from there, thus saving the infected. Why talk about olden times? Even today, our Bhaktamar Stotra is used to heal people. So yes, mantras go a long way to act and get miracles work. Thank you, Corona, and many such other pandemics which gave us the gift of such miraculous stotras like the above. Jains are permitted to eat dry turmeric powder, dry ginger powder, and dry kachuro powder, as they have exceptional medical values. Now, Ayurveda Shastra says that if in a body the acidic level, the gas level, and also the kapha level, that is Vata, Pitta and Kapha, if they are maintained, if they are balanced in any body, then there are less chances of it to fall sick. And these three, turmeric, ginger and kachuro, help in maintaining this balance. Jainism is a philosophy promoted by a Kevaljnani, the enlightened one. Hence, he can see the pros and cons of this consumption. Corona has proved the benefits of ginger and turmeric. It is advised to eat these spices to keep safe. It is also advised to have warm water every now and then in these times. Another very basic principle of Jainism is to always consume boiled water. So, again, thank you, Corona. Once you recognize the hidden benefits that come with the challenge, it becomes easier to deal with it. Take a breath, a deep breath, and realize what is the situation we have been forced with and what has been your personal silver lining. I would love if you could email or WhatsApp me or anything that you can get to in touch with me. Some of the other benefits you have observed during this period, I'd be happy to share it with some of my other audiences. Thank you. But there is one experience that I would like to share. During this lockdown period, Bindu Ben from Antwerp began a yagna to help the Antwerp Sangh to maintain sanity by offering them 1.5 hours. Yes, literally 1.5 hours a day of lectures by learned religious scholars, thereby giving them an activity to do in the entire day, not feel lonely, not feel alone, not have times to feel depressed or alone, but to look forward to something, to learn something. And it provided also income to the scholars who delivered these lectures. So it was a win-win situation at both ends. Moving on, within the deep science and scriptures of Jainism, we have accounted for such pandemics. We have always known of the possibility of such times, and we have never assumed an almighty human power over nature. About 2500 years ago, in Og Niryukti, which is written by Sri Bhadrabahu Swamiji, also author of Uvasagaharam and Kalpasutra. Kalpasutra is the Granth which is read during Patyushan. Okay, so he has in detail mentioned about how a sadhu suffering from a contagious virus such as this should be treated. Also, suppose God forbid the infected sadhu should not survive, how his body should be disposed of. The resemblance to the practices observed today and suggested by WHO are uncanny. In brief, the points covered by the shlokas in Niryukti are: a person serving such an infected sadhu should cover his hand with a cloth. Today's language, use of gloves. Wash his hands after treating him, sanitizing. Keep such infected sadhus in quarantine. Anything used or touched by such a sadhu should not be touched by others. Give food to the infected sadhu keeping a distance. One should not talk much with him to avoid a lot of contact via spit or sneeze or anything of that kind. One who is not scared and is physically fit only should serve such a sadhu. Because if that anxiety or that anxiousness, that scared feeling is shown on the face of the person who is trying to help the infected, then he maybe he gets very depressed, kind of understanding his situation, and there are chances that he can get into depression. So only the physically fit and not the scared should serve such sadhus. If he dies, his belongings should be disposed of. Regulations for the disposal of the infected body is also given in good details. One should not take gochari. They are also asked to not go and take alms, gochari, from the house infected by such virus. Also, at that time, so many years down the line, 2400, 500 years down, it was said that these kind of viruses and bacteria remain longer on metals. So do not touch metal as it retains the virus for a longer period. For verification of any of the above facts, I request you to check with www.jainelibrary.org number 600243. Yes, so we saw Apyat. But what is next? What is the way ahead? What do we do now? The lockdown is still going on, and so many of us have taken several steps to maintain a healthy routine. However, at the back of our heads, we miss the old world, the freedom, the joy. Today, many corona-affected people in quarantine or otherwise lonely people are experiencing severe depression and anxiety. They see no way out. They feel stuck, scared, lost, and alone. Jainism preaches 22 bhavnas or mindsets to maintain on a daily basis. Basically points to remember and internalize that lead you to the truth. 4 such mindsets from these 22 seem extremely relevant in today's day. And I believe that if you understand the core of these 4 mindsets, or shall we call them bhavnas, no amount of depression, sorrow, anxiety, or anger can touch you. You are self-sufficient and blissful within your own self. The first one is Ekatva Bhavna. To recognize the power within solitude, the energy inside. Jainism prepares one to be all by oneself by Ekatva Bhavna, the acceptance power. This Bhavna teaches us to come to a relationship to come to a realization that the soul comes into the world alone and dies alone, binds karma alone, and experiences those karma alone too. We crave internal validation and acceptance because we don't accept our own selves at some level. The day we learn to love ourselves, to have the ability to be happy and fearless within ourselves, no such challenge can shake us. We lack confidence. We just need to build that up. Ekatva Bhavna asks us to introspect and truly find out why we rely on external support. Why don't we just look within? If we are made to come and go alone through this journey anyway, why do we look for external support? It is a very empowering mindset that puts perspective to our daily life. Second, Anyatva Bhavna teaches us to stop our circumspection. This reminds us that because we are alone, we do not need external support or validation. We are enough for ourselves. This bhavna talks about the temporary and fleeting nature of indulging into materialistic pleasures or having deep attachments with other people. To an extent that our sense of self is destroyed. It tells us to see the external for what it is. It is temporary. It is momentary. And it is never, ever going to be enough. One craving will end and another will start. If we would have been present to seeing opportunity in the challenge, in this Corona times, if we were open to seeing the positive, the detachment from externalities is exactly what lockdown tried to teach us. Better late than never. Let's learn to detach. Anitya Bhavna speaks about our body being perishable, very, very short-lived. Our lifespan is like a droplet at the edge of a grass blade that is, which will drop anytime the wind blows. The wind will blow and the drop at the edge of the grass blade will fall. That is how our lifespan is. All worldly pleasures too are momentary and will all disappear like the spark of lightning. We are running around doing only those things that the body wishes, but the body is temporary and we are completely neglecting what is best for our soul, who is permanent. From Anyatva Bhavna, we learn that we must detach. From Anitya Bhavna, we learn that there is no point in attaching yourself to it because it is fleeting. So as an intellectual person, ask yourself, are you trumpeting the needs of your temporary body and small pleasures of today over the permanent and more blissful needs of your soul? Look within. The strength is within you. Asharan Bhavna tells us that when in pain or bad health or in trouble, not a single person can help us. We cannot depend on anyone at all. Dharma is our only hope. What will be, will be. Leave it up to the universe and accept what is happening. This is a strong mindset as it disallows you to take any such challenges personally and hence always keeps you afloat, ready for new possibilities and at the same time surrendered to the larger power around you. One may sin for his family, but when he reaps what he sowed, his family would not be able to help. This feeling of helplessness is Asharan Bhavna. Though in reality, the soul needs no Sharan. It has infinite powers of itself. All these bhavnas are interrelated. Corona showed us and tried to teach us that we are capable of living alone, ekatva bhavna, capable uh, to live with lesser materialistic things, as when these materialistic things enter our hearts and minds, they make us dance to their tune, anyatva bhavna. To do this without dependency, asharan bhavna, as nothing but faith and religion can help in times of need, as all people and things are not permanent, anitya bhavna, everything is perishable. I hope that my two bits help shift the narrative around Corona and that we stop blaming ourselves, our family, our governments, or anyone else for the happenings. Learn to accept and make the most of the situation. Not this one, but any other situation that may come your way. Personal, professional, may it be anything. You have the strength, courage, faith, and that you keep learning and stay well. Thank you. I end here, but I bring to you a small message from Param Pujya Hem Yashashriji Maharaj Sahib Ji. It is a message for all the NRIs. For those who do not know Maharaj Sahib Ji, she, Dipti Ben, who is also my elder sister, took Diksha 10 years back in Surat. She visited the USA and other places around the world for lectures for years before her Diksha. She had a special affiliation for the NRI youth, and so her message. The NRIs of Italy and certain other countries were told by their respective countries to make their own arrangements to go back to India, as due to Corona, they would not be able to cater to them. Many NRIs fled to the airport wanting to come back to India, but planes were cancelled. Hence, stranded, they asked India for help. All Indians, by mere birth, have a soft and non-selfish motherly heart. Mother India, led by Shri Modi ji, kept them in quarantine on the border, treated them immediately, rescued them by special flights, and then restored them back to their Indian homes. From this, all NRIs should open their eyes. Tomorrow, unpredictable political or any other situations may occur, and they may have to leave their country in an emergency. So they should come back home while the going is good. Thanks and take care. You can get in touch with me at 98-206-83930. This is an Indian number, so please add +91. Pranam.